What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my Godzilla comic reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Godzilla vs. America, Godzilla vs. Kansas City. So this is another in the Godzilla vs. America series. And yes, I made a community post. I am aware of the announcement of Godzilla Minus Zero. Sorry I'm a little late on some of these videos. The last thing I posted was on Halloween, which is that big giant compilation video, but I just after that was a pretty busy couple of days, so I haven't had time to really dive into this thing. But yes, now we're into November. That was just announced, so I'm pretty thrilled about that. New Comic Book Day is tomorrow. I forget what's coming out, but I want to get this thing out here, and I think I had one DC book from last week to catch up on. There's a lot of stuff happening, and I also just saw the announcement of The Mummy 4. The sequel I have been waiting for so long is finally going to happen, so I'm pretty stoked about that too. So it's a good day to be a fan of stuff. So now I just need that Rush Hour 4 sequel, so then I'll be happy with my Legacy sequels. But anyways, that's a discussion for another video. But now we're on to the focal point of this one, which is Godzilla versus Kansas City. This is another one of those entries. We've had Godzilla in Boston, we've had Chicago, I think we had one other city, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I've covered the other issues, so you can check them out on the channel. So it's an anthology thing. Some of the issues are more fun than others, but this one's, pretty decent overall. It's got some really solid artwork throughout the whole thing and ties into the city. It's meant to be kind of fun and cheesy and all that. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Oh yeah, Godzilla vs. LA was another one. So, but this one only has 4 storylines, so it's actually I feel like they have a little bit more meat on its bones with the stories, because some of them will have a little bit more and they'll just be like a page or two, and you're like, oh, what was kind of the point for that? You could have kind of cut this one and just kind of added more to it. So, but by making it 4 with the last 2 really just tying into one another, it works in its favor. So we have Make a Mark by Buster Moody with colors by Ludwig Olimbo. We have Tornado Watch written by Freddie E. Williams and finishing inks by Buster Moody. We have Local Flavor, story by Kyle Stram and Jake Smith. And then we have Lost in Space, story by Kyle Stram and Baldemar Rivas, written by Kyle Stram, artwork by Baldemar Rivas. So Kyle Stram. So yeah, some of the creative team just worked on the last 2 issues together. So, but yes, let's go ahead and talk about the first storyline, which is Make a Mark. And this is about some guys doing some graffiti when Godzilla shows up, and they had some issues with somebody, but then they have to ultimately kind of work together to kind of save one another and get out of there. And Godzilla's there causing some destruction. The good thing about this storyline is there's some really epic looking artwork. These 2 just barely kind of survived this whole scenario right here, but I like the design of Godzilla, and I like the way the colors and all that popped off the page, and I like the way the graffiti kind of ties in towards kind of the end. So it's a simple little storyline, nothing mind-blowing or anything like that, but it's got some pretty solid artwork and some great visuals of Godzilla. And then the second storyline is an Exilian one. We have the Exilians here monitoring Kansas City, and it ties into the fact that Kansas City prepares for being where they're located, prepares for tornadoes and stuff too, and the Exilians are monitoring, but they're remaining hidden from Godzilla with all the stuff they got kind of set up here. It's kind of futuristic. I really like Godzilla's design here. The only disappointing part about this is Godzilla does not stomp all over Arrowhead and the Chiefs stadium. If he did that, this would have been a 10 out of 10 thing. That's just me just not liking the Chiefs, but they do explain that they have some kind of crazy devices there that kind of control weather and do all sorts of other things to affect Godzilla, which makes me wonder, is this the explanation for how they get away with some of their black magic or whatever to win their game somehow? But that's a discussion for another day. Sorry to throw shade at the Kansas City Chiefs, but I can't stand the team. So yeah, but anyways, so that's a pretty fun one. Godzilla faces down, takes down some Exilians and all that too. And, like I said, some pretty cool looking artwork. And then the last 2 storylines, the first one here is Lost in the Sauce. This is about how the sauce becomes mutated for the city and just starts attacking Godzilla. I believe this is the same artist who worked on, was it Godzilla War for Humanity? Because the art style looks the same. I can't recall off the top of my head, but it looks pretty good here. So again, it's just kind of Godzilla fights some sauce monsters, and it kind of concludes in the next thing to kind of figure out how that happens. But people are trying to enjoy their delicious barbecue sauce in the city, and these monsters form, and Godzilla basically has to stop them, and he inevitably does. And that's kind of the storyline in a nutshell. It ties into the city. I guess you get more out of it if you're like from Kansas City and all that too. I was just hoping Godzilla would just destroy Arrowhead Stadium, but I never got that, so I was kind of disappointed by that. Like I said, when I see Godzilla and these kaiju in these major cities, I want to see the landmarks destroyed and all that too. So even if you're from the city or whatnot, I just want to have something kind of fun with that. But there's some fun to be had with this thing. Little bummed Godzilla, like I said, didn't destroy the Chiefs Stadium. But other than that, this is a pretty fun, solid little anthology book. I guess, like I said, if you're from this area, you'll connect to it a little bit more. Because like some of the books, for instance, the Chicago one, I've been to Chicago on numerous occasions, so I could probably like, oh, there's this thing and there's that thing, and I've also seen it showcased in a lot more like movies and shows. I mean, look at John Hughes. He uses Chicago for pretty much like any like movie that he's ever made. So that city's been well showcased, and that Kansas City is one that doesn't really get as much, other than kind of their sports teams right now. So for me, it was just like, I just wanted to see it just smash at least this. But they're known for, like I said, some of the stuff in the sauce and all that too. They got some good food, Southern barbecue and all that too. Like that's some really solid. Is it Southern Midwest or not Midwest? Whatever you want to call it, like barbecue stuff. That kind of area. So like having that incorporated into the storyline and having monsters form from it is a kind of fun concept. And just getting new creations and kaiju for Godzilla to face off against is always a fun thing to say. But again, these anthology books are just more lighthearted fun. Like you're not going to get anything like mind-blowing out of it. They're just like, okay, we're in the city, what kind of fun little shenanigans can we do, and put Godzilla in there and just kind of laugh, have a good time, and just enjoy it for what it is. So is it the best thing that IDW has done? No, I wouldn't go that far. I think IDW's crafted much stronger storylines, but again, this is an anthology thing. You just kind of have to know what your expectations are with it and go into it not expecting too much, and just have a lighthearted little Godzilla tale of sorts. So with some really good looking artwork. I mean, like I said, this is a beautifully drawn comic from start to finish. So at least the Godzilla stuff really pops off the page. I think out of the 4 storylines, I liked the Exilian one the most, mostly because it's always fun to see the Exilians get their asses kicked. The first one was, pretty simple, straightforward, and then the other 2 kind of tied in together. I guess I'll get this over maybe some of the other anthology books, is because there's only 4 storylines in here, they really kind of like are able to flesh them out a little bit more than the ones that maybe have more than 4, where it's just a page or 2, and you're just like, what was the point of that? I forget which one it was, where it was that really random one where that lady just grew to like massive height or whatever, and then just kind of faltered off. It was in one of the Godzilla vs. America books. I have to look again just to kind of see, but yeah, is this the best one? I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's got some good stuff to it, so enjoy it for what it is. Like I said, not my favorite that IDW's done, but it's, like I said, lighthearted, harmless. And if you want to see Godzilla destroy a few things, but unfortunately not the Chiefs home stadium, then this might be the book for you. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. But anyways, if you read the comic book, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all the fun stuff. I will be back again. I got to cover like one DC book that I missed from last week, and then I should be all set, caught up for tomorrow. All right, well, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.